Bigfoot, also known as the Sasquatch, is one of the most famous cryptids in the United States. While its existence remains unconfirmed, there are numerous alleged sightings of it all over the country, and many people are still determined to prove its existence. What's up guys, Freindlyneighborhood Pig here, along with my associate, Freindlyneighborhood Goat.
What up?
And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the most compelling evidence regarding Bigfoot, trying to determine whether or not it's real. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's just get into the video. Stories of creatures similar to Bigfoot exist in other cultures and countries around the world, such as the Yeti in the Himalayas, the Australian Yowie, and the Yeren in China. In North America, mainly in the Pacific Northwest, large Bigfoot-like creatures have existed in the stories and folklore of various Native American cultures for centuries. The name Sasquatch is derived from the word Sasquatch, from the Native American language Halkomilem, which can be roughly translated to mean wild man or hairy man. Cave paintings found on the Tule River Indian Reservation in California depict Bigfoot-like creatures and are estimated to be around 500 to 1,000 years old. Stories of these creatures have also existed in the United States for centuries. In the summer of 1924, it was reported a group of gold prospectors were attacked by a group of Sasquatches, or ape men, near St. Helens in Washington state. The prospectors reportedly came across the creatures while they were working when one of them shot at them. Later that night, the ape men came back and attacked them in their cabin, slamming themselves into it and throwing rocks at it. This area is now referred to as Ape Canyon because of this story, and many people believe the creatures described were Sasquatches. However, the more modern-day legend of Bigfoot most people are familiar with began in the 1950s. In August 1958, Jerry Crew, a bulldozer operator for a logging company, was working near Bluff Creek in Six Rivers National Forest, located in Northern California, when he spotted unusually large footprints in the ground. They were reportedly around 16 inches in length, almost as big as me, if you know what I mean. The logging workers began to refer to whatever made the footprints as Bigfoot. While many of them suspected the footprints might be a prank or hoax, it was still reported by the local newspaper, the Humboldt Times, later that year, which also referred to the creature as Bigfoot. Soon the story began to gain traction around the country. Andrew Genzoli, the reporter who wrote the story from the Humboldt Times, later said, "We had reporters from all the wire services pounding on our door. There were representatives from the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, Chronicle and Examiner, San Francisco, and many, many more." This is what popularized the name Bigfoot and brought the legends into mainstream American culture, resulting in more alleged sightings and believers. These footprints were eventually revealed to be a hoax started by one of the loggers from that company, Ray Wallace. Wallace died in 2002, and following his death, his family confessed on his behalf that the footprints were a prank and were created with large wooden shoes. According to his nephew, he did it just for the joke, and then he was afraid to tell anybody because they'd be so mad at him. Still, this hasn't stopped some people from believing in it. According to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, which has been researching Bigfoot since their founding in 1995, the Bigfoot's average height is 7 feet 10 inches, and average weight is estimated to be 650 pounds, weighing almost as much as your mom. Also, according to the organization, a portion of people who've encountered Sasquatches claim that they exude an intense, disagreeable stench comparable to the odor of smegma. Based on a variety of footprints that were discovered, the average foot size is estimated to be about 15.6 inches. Bigfoot are reportedly mostly nocturnal and are omnivores. Quote, "They have been observed directly to eat leaves, berries, fruits, roots, aquatic plants, and other vegetable matter, catch fish, dig up clams or ground squirrels, and prey on poultry, deer, elk, and bear. In addition, they eat other odd items, such as young evergreen shoots, crayfish, roadkill, meat, or fish from human storage sites, hunter-killed game animals, these sometimes snatched in front of the hunter, and occasional garbage. They take an occasional livestock animal, but not with sufficient frequency as to prove organized persecution." The Sasquatch's mating season has also been observed to be around May and June. I wonder how they were able to observe that, Did somebody come across two of them in the woods? You know what I mean? Anyway, according to the organization, the reason no Bigfoot body has ever been found is that when they die, the body is quickly eaten by other carnivores, even insects. It also claims that there is some evidence to suggest that they do not leave their dead unattended to. What many people say is the best piece of evidence of the existence of Bigfoot is the Patterson-Gimlin film. The film, shot in 1967 in Northern California by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, shows an unidentified subject walking through the woods which many believe to be a Bigfoot. Patterson was a Sasquatch enthusiast, even publishing a book on the subject a year earlier called Do Abominable Snowmen of America Really Exist? Gimlin was more skeptical, but had agreed to go with Patterson to try and look for it and potentially film a documentary on the subject. They had rented a camera and gone out horseback riding in Six Rivers National Forest. Around October 20th, near Bluff Creek, they came across the creature they believed to be a Sasquatch and shot the now famous film. Both Patterson and Gimlin have maintained what they saw was real, Patterson seemingly believing in what he saw until he died in 1972. The creature in the video is thought to be a female and has been named Patty. While many different researchers have their own opinions on it, the footage has yet to be officially debunked. Some claim muscle movements are able to be seen in the film, which would indicate it not being a costume. For example, cryptozoologist Warren Coleman says he was able to identify movement in multiple different areas, such as the left and right butt cheeks, the mouth and eyebrows, and the joints in her elbows. Many also point to ape costumes in movies that were released during that time, such as the 1968 films Planet of the Apes and 2001 A Space Odyssey, being less realistic and seemingly less advanced than the Patterson-Gimlin film. However, there are many Hollywood special effects workers who are not impressed with the Bigfoot seen in the footage. Many believed it could have been a costume that Patterson rented that was designed by makeup artist John Chambers, who worked on films like Planet of the Apes. Chambers denied these allegations. However, this does not change the fact that many special effects artists believe the Patterson-Gimlin film was a guy in a suit. Bob Burns, who worked with special effects, including many that involved apes, reviewed the Bigfoot footage and said, "Our honest opinion, from having worked in gorilla suits, was that it was a guy in a suit. The way it moved, it obviously looked like it had what we call a water bag in the stomach area, which is an old trick that Charlie Gamora, the greatest ape man ever, I think, devised for his suit back in the 30s. That's the sort of liquid stomach thing to make it look like real flesh when you wiggle around." Another effects artist, John Volich, said, "I'll tell you, as a makeup artist looking at it, it's a guy in a suit. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a guy in a suit." They get into specifics like the way the head turns, that it turns like a gorilla. It turns that way because the suit was stiff and made from polyfoam, and he couldn't probably turn his neck very well. Well, if it's stiff, then how could he be walking? Well, not every part of it's going to be stiff. The joints are going to be loose, etc. However, there are still some effects artists who say it was too good to be a suit. One being Bill Munns, who analyzed almost every aspect of Patty and determined it was not a costume, saying, "A human in a fursuit with gloves on the human hands would not likely match the film figure's proportions. If the human actor used had normal human proportions of body height to arm span, the film's figure's wrist size does not suggest arm extensions are being used. Further analysis will be conducted on this issue, so a replication of the figure in the film by a human actor in the suit achieving the alignment of eyes, hands, knees, and feet apparently requires a human of uncommon anatomical proportions, particularly with an exceptionally extended arm span, with an arm span ratio of about 110 to body height, as compared to more normal human ratio of 100% or less." There have been some people that claimed to be the man in the suit, notably Bob Hieronymus, who says Patterson paid him $1,000 to wear the suit and walk in front of the camera, but he was never paid. Hieronymus' mother and other relatives corroborate his story, saying they saw the suit in the back of Bob's car after he returned. However, the whereabouts of the suit today are unknown. In 2005, Hieronymus passed a lie detector test. Still, some doubt his story, citing inconsistencies in it. Another person, Philip Morris, who owns Morris Costumes, claims he sold Patterson the gorilla suit through the mail and that Patterson had called to ask about making various modifications to the suit to hide the zipper and make it appear more realistic. He said he found out about the Bigfoot video when he saw it on TV. Morris has not provided any receipts or any other evidence other than his testimony though. There are some who say the way the Sasquatch walks in the film proves it was not a human. Dr. Dmitry Donskoy, an expert in biomechanics, analyzed the footage and wrote in his review of it, "On the whole, the most important thing is the consistency of all the above-mentioned characteristics. They not only simply occur, but interact in many ways, and all these factors taken together allow us to evaluate the walk of the creature as a natural movement without any signs of artfulness that would appear in intentional imitations. At the same time, despite the diversity of human gaits, such a walk as is demonstrated by the creature in the film is absolutely non-typical of man." Patty also left behind some big footprints. Plaster casts of them were made. It is also possible that Ray Wallace, the man behind the 1958 Bigfoot story, played a part in the Patterson-Gimlin film. Wallace has said he told Patterson where to go to look for Bigfoot, which happened to be near the 1958 incident. While it is confirmed Patterson and Wallace met, it is unconfirmed whether or not this conversation took place. According to an article from Strange Magazine, Ray Wallace has claimed that he knows who was in the Patterson suit. He will not give a name, but says that the person in the suit was a Yakima Indian. The Patterson-Gimlin film has been analyzed by many different people, probably thousands of times now, but with many different stories and theories regarding it, it is possible that the video may never be completely debunked or confirmed, especially since there isn't a whole lot to go off of with it being a short video from over 50 years ago. Still, to many Bigfoot believers, it remains arguably the best piece of evidence that currently exists. Over the years, there have been thousands of alleged Bigfoot sightings all across the United States. A few notable ones include one in the Marble Mountains in Northern California. The creature was spotted by a youth group while they were on a backpacking trip in 2001. The footage was released 10 years later. Another sighting happened in 2007. The alleged Sasquatch was caught on camera in Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania, though some say it is just a sick bear. In May 1994, Bigfoot researcher Paul Freeman recorded a video appearing to show a Sasquatch in Washington's Blue Mountains. However, most remain skeptical of this since Freeman has been known to fake evidence in the past. A 2014 study of hairs attributed to anomalous primates revealed the hair belonged to a variety of known mammals, such as bears, raccoons, and porcupines. In 1976, Bigfoot researcher Peter Byrne sent the FBI what he thought was Bigfoot hair. Later in 2019, it was reported the hair was found to belong to different species of deer. In 2008, two men, Matthew Witten and Rick Dyer, claimed to have found a dead Bigfoot in the mountains in Georgia. Researcher Tom Biscardi allegedly paid an undisclosed amount of money to Witten and Dyer for the body. However, it was eventually revealed to be a costume. Along with decades of research, there have been lots of evidence that has come up over the years. However, most of it isn't good evidence. The majority of scientists are of the opinion that it is extremely unlikely that Bigfoot exists. Still, there are many people who believe and continue to investigate. Sightings also continue to be reported. There are many different theories on what Bigfoot may actually be. Some suggest people might have seen apes that have escaped captivity, or bears. Some black bears have been known to walk on two legs sometimes. Others say Bigfoot may be a descendant of Gigantopithecus, an extinct large primate from Southeast Asia. Some theories even say Bigfoot might be related to aliens or is an interdimensional spirit. Regardless, unless somebody comes up with real physical evidence, it doesn't appear that its existence will be proven anytime soon. Bigfoot researcher Renee DeHeden was reported to have said, "You know, I've spent over 40 years and I didn't find it. I guess that's gotta say something." Well, I guess that's it for this video.
Wait, Freindlyneighborhood Pig, did you hear that? It's coming from the woods over there.
What's going on, Freindlyneighborhood Goat? You see something?
Yeah. Freindlyneighborhood Peacock.